So picture a future where humanity has pretty much shed its biological skin. Everybody has uploaded their consciousness to this massive digital network. Well, almost everybody. Today, we're diving into the final thoughts, the final testament of the very last human mind.
Right off the bat, you get this feeling of just absolute total isolation. He's not just the last person, he's the last of his kind. The final example of a consciousness that runs on meat and blood, all tucked away inside a single skull.
And get this, he's 847 years old. I mean, that's just wild. He's not just some guy who's held out for a bit, he's a living, breathing piece of history. He has watched centuries go by, just stubbornly clinging to his body while the rest of civilization went digital.
But even that level of stubbornness has its limits. He's finally made the choice. The countdown is on. In just 1 week, he's going to go through with it. The procedure that turns his mind into code. And the stakes, they are literally as high as they can get. It's the end of his biological life, one way or the other.
And that, right there, is the huge question hanging over this entire story. Is he about to unlock some new form of eternal life? Or is he just pulling off the most well-documented, philosophically rich suicide ever? That's the mystery we're going to try and unpack. So to even begin to understand his decision, he starts by trying to take stock of what's about to be lost. Before he can let go of his humanity, he feels like he needs to define it. He basically creates a mental balance sheet, weighing what he'll gain against what he's about to lose forever.
The first paradox he hits on is all about connection. Okay, so on one hand, he gains total communion with every single mind in the network. He'll never be lonely again. But then, he has this incredible realization. If you lose loneliness, you also lose what makes companionship so special. Real connection, he figures, only means something because we know what it's like to be separate.
And this same paradox pops up with knowledge, too. Getting access to all information ever. That sounds like a huge win, right? But what happens when there's nothing new to figure out? He starts to wonder if the whole process of learning, that struggle, the surprise, that aha moment, is actually way more valuable than just knowing everything from the get-go. And that brings us to the biggest trade-off of them all. Immortality. The end of death itself. But think about it. If you have forever, does anything you do today really matter? He poses this heavy question. Does life only feel precious? Does it only have urgency and meaning because we know our time is running out? If you get rid of death, maybe you get rid of the reason to live too. So as the days on the calendar tick by, all these big philosophical questions stop being abstract ideas. They become this very real, very heavy psychological burden. His countdown to this transformation turns into a full-blown personal crisis about what it even means to be a self. You can just feel him unraveling during this final week. On day 1, the decision is made, he's set. But by day 4, the sheer weight of it all is crushing him. He's not sleeping, he's exhausted, and he starts to feel this weird disconnect from his own body, from his own thoughts. His sense of who he is starts to just crack. And this line just perfectly captures how he starts breaking down the idea of a self. He begins to see consciousness not as the driver, but as a narrator. Like a sportscaster that's just describing a play that's already happened. The I isn't really in charge. It's just the story we tell ourselves about what our brain has already decided to do. So this leads to the scariest question, doesn't it? If the I is just a story, and you're about to copy that story to a new server while deleting the original, what happens? Is the digital being that wakes up actually a continuation of him, or is it just a perfect copy that believes it's him? A perfect echo? Just when he hits rock bottom, totally exhausted, consumed by doubt, something completely out of left field happens. That isolation he's been feeling for centuries, it shatters. The network, that giant collective mind he's about to join, it actually reaches out and speaks to him right inside his own head. The network offers to help him, to ease his pain, let him sleep. But he refuses. He actually claims his suffering. He says this pain, this exhaustion, it's authentically human. It's his. In a world where everything is shared, his private suffering is one of the last things he truly owns. And here's the kicker, the big reveal. The network wasn't just sitting there tapping its fingers, waiting for him. It was learning from him. His stubborn, centuries-long refusal to join gave it a perspective that was absolutely priceless. The view from a truly separate, individual mind. The network itself understood the paradox. It admits that by finally absorbing him, the last other, it will achieve a state of completion. But in that exact same moment,
it will also become truly and completely alone, because it will have lost the very thing, his separateness, that gave it perspective.
And that brings us here, the final morning. All the debates are over. A strange kind of calm has washed over him. The countdown is hitting 0, and with it, the very last moments of biological humanity itself.
The end is surprisingly quiet. An automated vehicle just shows up, he gets into this crystal chamber, lies back, and the process begins. The process of translating his entire mind into nothing but pure information.
And as he's lying there, in this weird space between one life and the next, feeling the scan start, all that fear and all that questioning that has defined his life, it just goes quiet. He's not fighting anymore, he's not analyzing, he's just ending. And in that quiet, one last thought comes to him.
He finally lets go of that question that haunted him for so long. He's no longer worried about, will I survive? He finds a different kind of peace. The pattern, his mind, his memories, his unique way of seeing the world, that pattern will go on. And in that final moment, he decides that has to be enough.
But the story leaves that thought just hanging there, not just as a statement, but as this deep, profound question. Is it enough? As we look at our own technological future, when a person can be copied and continued, is the pattern surviving the same thing as the person surviving? That is the question he leaves for us to wrestle with.